Hi, welcome to Sunflower Cottage Crochet. I'm your host, Sarah, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do the join as you go method for joining traditional granny squares. As you see, I only have 6 here. It's for tutorial purposes. This can be as big or as small as you want it. It'll be the same method no matter what. So you start out with your first corner being the bottom right hand corner. And what you're going to do, try and center this a little more, is, as you can see, I haven't woven in any ends, so this is definitely my starting and finishing point. So you start here with half of a corner, you work up the side, you do a full corner, you work up the top, do another full corner, and then you come down and you only do half a corner. Then you're doing the same thing with this square. You're joining it with half of a corner, going up the side, doing a full corner, don't join them. Then you go across the top, you'll do another full corner down to the bottom and only half a corner here. And you'll do the same thing starting here, half a corner, go up the side, full corner, across the top, full corner, stop. This is where it changes. When you reach your left side, however many squares you've got, when you reach that left side, you'll now need to start working up. So you bring in your next row, first square on the left, and when you're going from left to right, you're going to go straight across, joining as you go the top and bottom edges of these squares. So you'll start with your 3 in the bottom left corner of the new square, and then you'll slip stitch to this one, work a granny cluster in this space, slip stitch here, granny cluster, slip stitch here, half a corner, and so on. And then you will go straight across in the same manner and work up. And if this were either just the straight side or the top as well, you would work a full corner. Always on the right side, you're finishing the edge as you go rather than later. So then you will do your full corner, go across, down, connect opposite corners, come over, go up, connect these corners, go across, down, connect these corners, come up, connect these corners, go across, down, connect these corners. Now you're going straight down and you're going to finish working this side and this corner all the way down, connect these corners, across, connect, finish. So yes, I know it's very confusing when you have to look at it that way, so we're definitely going to be doing this together. So what I've got are 6 squares again in our sunflower colors. So just arranging them, however. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start out with this yellow one here in the corner in the bottom right, just like I explained earlier. We're going to go up and over and down, connect, up, over, down, connect, up, over, stop. And then up, straight across, straight across, straight across, go up, over, down, connect, up, over, down, connect, up, over, all the way down, all the way across. So as I said, this is done no matter how many squares you have. It's a repeat of 2 rows. Once you have come all the way to the right and you've gone up and you've done your ring around the rosy, if you have another row to do, instead of coming down, you stop here and you go up, and then you bring in the next square and you go all the way across, and then you do ring around the rosy again. So it's really easy once you get the hang of it, so that's why I'm really only going to need to show you the repeat rows for it and how to work the side, the top, and the bottom. So to get started, see if I can keep these in order. Set them off to the side. I am now going to join. I only have a 3-row granny. I like 4 instead of 5-row grannies. So my 4th row, when you're doing a join as you go, you leave your final round of the granny off, because that's what you're using to join with. So you're going to have to pick a color that you're wanting to join with. Most people go white. I am certainly going white just for tutorial purposes. So to do this, I actually like to create a slip knot to join. It's going to get worked over and worked in anyway. So if this is the bottom of your square, you're going to start in the bottom right hand corner, and you're going to put 3 double crochet only to start. So let's go ahead and do that. Chain up 2, put 3 double crochet in. Okay, now we're just going to work it all the way around just like we normally would, putting 3 double crochets in each space along the sides. Now for the color squares, I use Red Heart Super Saver because that's what I had a lot of on hand. But for the white, I'm actually using I Love This Yarn in white. Now for the corner, you're going to do a whole corner. In my Granny Squares case, it is 3DC chain 2 3DC. So that's what I'm going to do. If yours is a chain 3 in the middle, that's fine. Doesn't matter. Just do it as you have been doing it. It's really the technique that is important. Now we're going to work across this top edge, because again, we started here and this is your telltale. So we just did our first corner. Now we're going to go straight across like we normally would if we were putting on our final granny square round. Maybe. There we go. Got it. It's almost like going fishing. I also do not chain 1 between jumps. Some do. If yours does, do it that way. You want to be consistent. Now we're going to put another full corner in. The very first squares are usually almost completely worked before you start joining. Almost. Alright, so now here's what it looks like so far. We got our starting point where we only did part of a corner. We went up the side, did a corner, across the top, did a corner. Now we're going to go down this side. Okay, and again, here's where we're at. Starting point, up, across, now down. Now we have this corner and a naked bottom. We're going to leave the bottom naked because it gets done last over the course of the entire project. So now we're only going to put 3 double crochets. You started with half a corner, we're going to finish with half a corner. And stop. Now I'm going to grab my next color and set it right next to it. And what we're going to do is join here. But again, we're only going to put 3 double crochet into this corner. So in order to do that, I just put the wrong sides together and go right into it. And I'm kind of holding both however I can. And now I can just let this one flop around. It's fine. It's connected now. So, well, almost. So we've done it, our first half a corner here, and as you can see, they line up. They're facing the correct directions. So now I have to start slip stitching and then doing my cluster, slip stitch cluster, slip stitch corner. So to do the slip stitch to this one, we're just going to go right in through the top, grab our yarn, and I do it all in one motion where I pull through both the gap and the loop on my hook at the same time. And then you just do 3 double crochets into your next space. If you chain 1 between spaces, you chain one first and then you go in. I don't, so I'm not going to bother with it. Now we're going to slip stitch to the next open space on the previous square. And put 3 double crochets in the next open space of your working square. That's how they're going to be labeled. Working, the one you're currently adding the border to, and previous square. Now we need to slip stitch one more time, even though we're going to a corner next. That's okay. Trust me, it works. So we're going to slip stitch, join, and then put a full corner into the working one. I know what you're thinking. Stop, wait. Why didn't we connect the corners? Because in the join as you go method, you actually join opposite corners. So like if this was my other corner up here, these two would actually be joined and then these two would be joined. You'll just have to trust me. Now we're going to work straight across the top like we normally would when putting on the final row of your granny square. And then we're going to put a full corner in. Alright, and here's what it looks like so far. Yes, I know it seems weird that these are not connected, but they will get joined. Then we're going to work down the side, just like normal. Alright, so again, here we are. We had our starting point. We worked up and over and down, connected, worked a corner, worked across, worked a corner, now we're down. So if you recall, if you start with half a corner, you have to do another half a corner, so at least for the bottom row. So we're going to put 3 double crochet right here and stop. Now we've got 2 joined, mostly. We're going to bring in our next square. It'll be this lovely blue. And then we will join with 3 double crochets into this corner, slip stitch, join our way up, do a full corner, go across, and stop before we get to that point. So again, I'm going to work it with you because I know seeing it a few times does help. Again, I like to put the back sides together so I know that the clusters are all going to be facing the correct direction. And I'm just like pinching where I can. I'm going right in with 3 double crochets. And I can now let that green one drop so I can hold this a little easier. Okay, so we've joined. Everything's facing the right directions. Now we're going to slip stitch into this first gap here and then put a 3 double crochet there. So again, to do that slip stitch, I go right into the top and pull through the gap and my loop all in one, and then I'm going to 3 double crochet. And again, if you chain one between your spaces, just chain one before you do the slip stitch. You can also just slip stitch and then chain one. It's just personal preference at that point. Okay, so now I'm going to slip stitch, join, do another, whoops, that didn't work out too well. Do another 3 double crochet. And I need to slip stitch join one more time, so that's what I'm going to do. make an entire corner here, but I'm not going to join it to the previous. Alright, so now as you see, we have joined up 3 squares, just like they all have been worked up the same way, starting here, going across and down. So, but this one will be different. Now we're going to work the last 2 top spaces like normal. Okay, almost. Alright, now to finish off and start moving up to the second row, you're only going to put 3 double crochet in. And stop. Alright, so here's what we have. Now I'm going to grab my next color. And we're going to join it starting here in the bottom left corner. Now remember, I explained this row, to get from the left back to the right side, you're just going to go straight across the bottoms of all these next squares, instead of doing a ring around the rosy. So let's start. In order to make this easier for me, I'm going to turn my work so that it just makes more sense to me. Might be turning it yet again. Alright, so we're starting with this corner to join to this one. So I'm going to put my back sides together. And I'm just going to jump in with 3 double crochets. Now that I got that double done, I can let go and move on. So now you can see, sort of, that these clusters are all facing the correct direction, and I have joined up, started the join up of this next square. So moving on, we will need to slip stitch join across the top and bottom. So I'm going to slip stitch to the previous square and put 3 double crochet in the working squares gap. Now I'm going to slip stitch to the next gap on the previous square and put 3 double crochet into the next gap on the working square. Now I still need one more slip stitch to join this to this. So in we go. And put 3 double crochet right here, and this is where we're going to stop and take a look at how it looks. Okay, so now we're golden, right? We've joined up this one's bottom part. So now we need to start connecting corners as well as the bottom edges. We're going to bring in our next color. We need to connect, actually we need to connect these two, the yellow and the green, and leave the blues hanging. So the way to do that is, now I chain 2 in my corners. If you chain 3, you'll start out with a chain 2 first. So let me just explain it my way. Chain 1, that's part of my chain 2. Remove your hook and insert from the top down into the top left corner of the middle square from below that you're joining to. Put your loop back on your hook and maybe These are so slick, it just slides right off. Alright, and you've pulled it through, chain 1 for your other chain 1. If you do a chain 3, do chain 2 first, then join and follow up with a chain 1. Alright, so now we're going to join in this next square. We're going to start in this corner here and put 3 double crochet. So again, backs facing each other. Go ahead and put 3 double crochet right into this corner. And we're not going to join it to any corners just yet, even though it looks like it's joined to these two. In a sense it is, but not in the way that we're thinking. So now we're going to slip stitch join across these 2 squares, just as we have been. Okay, then we're going to slip stitch again. And we need to slip stitch one more time and put 3 double crochet in this next corner and get ready to join it to the opposite corner. So for me, I'm going to chain 1. If you chain 2 or 3 in your corners, you would chain 2 first and then pull your hook out. So now I'm going to insert from the top down, pull the loop back on, pull it tight, pull it through, chain 1. Turn my work back over and bring in my last square in this case. So now I'm just going to put 3 double crochet into this corner to start joining it. Back sides together. Yeah, I don't like how long that loop ended up. Back sides together. Whatever you feel is your back side. And then we're just going to slip stitch join the tops and bottoms of these 2 squares, just as we have been. One last join along the side, and then put 3 double crochet into this corner. And because this is a side piece, now what we're going to do is join up here. The right edges of your project will be joined as you go. The left side will be joined after the fact. So chain 1 or 2. Insert your hook as we have been to join, put the loop back on, pull it through, chain 1, and finish your corner out by putting 3 more double crochets right back into that space. And now we're just going to work right up the side like normal. Okay, and now we're going to put a full corner here, whether this is a top piece, you know, top edge, or just another row will be coming after this. It doesn't matter. This is how you would do this corner. So you do a full corner here. Alright, and now your work is looking like so. You've joined opposite corners. Now we're going to start joining these opposite corners as well as going ring around the rosy. So we're going to go straight across the top, which again you would do whether this is, you're going to add another row to this or not. In my case, I'm showing you both the top edge and joining another row, or explaining it, but I'm showing you the top edge. Okay, so now we're going to put a full corner here just like we did when we did this bottom row. And turn your work as you need to. Don't be afraid to do that. You can always tell where your very first square is by the tail, or if you want to put a stitch marker in to make it even clearer for yourself, you just do what you have to do. Alright, now we're going to work down the side and stop before we get to this corner. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're going to finish this corner and join the two green corners together. So we're going to put 3 double crochet in to finish the corner first. Maybe. I'm still getting used to working on camera because I'm at an awkward angle to where what I normally like to be at. So I'm going to chain 1. If you chain 3, do your chain 2 first. Remove your hook. Now you're going to have to turn your work again. Find that floating corner there from the top into it. Now before you insert your loop back on, you have a choice, and it doesn't matter because the opposite side is going to be the opposite of what you did anyway. But you can either go over top or you can go underneath. I prefer to go underneath, just what I do. Pull it up and do your last chain up of 1. Now we're going to work this square. So we're going to finish its started corner by putting 3 more double crochet in. You've essentially already done up your chain 2 or 3 in the middle. Okay, we finished our corner. Now we're going to slip stitch join up to this one next to it. So turning my work to slip stitch join. And we're going to slip stitch to the next space, as we have been, putting our 3 double crochets in. And we're going to slip stitch to this last space. And we're going to put 3 double crochet in this corner and prepare to join it to the one next to it. This is where the top edge, and it's different from adding another row. So if you're adding another row, you would not join these two, you would simply finish a full corner. But since I'm also showing you how to do at the top, we're going to join these two because you want a completely closed up edge. So much like we do the side edges, we're going to join it by chaining 1 or 2, going into the opposite or other corner and pulling through, and then chaining 1 and finishing out the corner of your working square with the last 3 double crochets. And now whether this is the top edge or a middle row of sorts, you're just going to work along the top. And when you get to the corner, you're just going to do another full corner, because we will join it to the last square in this case when we're working on the final square. So we're just going to go ahead, do the whole corner. And we're just going to work right down the side because we won't start joining sides until one is complete. But in this case, we're going to work these 2 open squares and stop so we can start working on joining these 2 corners. Alright, so now we're at this corner. As I said, we're going to join it up, like chase my yarn ball like a cat, by putting 3 double crochet into it to finish it off. And then you're either going to chain 1 or 2, depending on if you chain 2 or 3 between your squares. For me it's 1. Pull out your hook, and I'm going to turn my work. Now we're going to pick up this lonely floater here, just like we have been. And remember, I like to go under. You can go over, doesn't matter. Pulling through, chain 1. Now we're going to finish off the yellow square. So I'm going to finish its corner by putting 3 double crochet in it. Now we're going to slip stitch join up the side. So I'm just going to go right in and slip stitch. Put 3 double crochet in. Slip stitch. I apologize for my noisy daughter. Join with the final side space there and start a corner. Put 3 double crochet in, chain 1 or 2, pull your hook out and join that corner like we have been, chain 1, and finish out this one's corner with 3 more double crochet. And now we're going to work across the top. Alright, here's where I want to explain something. If you recall, when we added this final side, instead of finishing it around, we went up to join this one and went across before we started doing ring around the rosy again. In this case, if you had more rows than this to do, you would put 3 double crochet into this corner and then join the next one up and work across the bottom edges, joining as you go, just like we did here. In this case, because I'm showing you the final top part of your project, we're going to put a whole corner in and start working down. So let's go ahead and do that. Put a whole corner in here. And now we're going to start working down the side, just like normal. Okay, here we've come to our corner. So what we're going to do is finish it off. It started, but we need to finish it. So we're going to put our 3 double crochet in. And then we're going to chain 1 or 2, remove that hook, and to show you, this is where it can get a little tricky. Remember, we would normally do opposites. In this case, we need to join it right here, just along the side. Chain 1, and now it's joined. but we need to finish this one's corner now. So for the blue, we're going to put 3 double crochet into this corner, and now that corner is finished. Now we're going to work down the side like normal. The reason I don't chain 1 between spaces is because I don't like the extra gap. I like a sturdier granny. It's already gappy enough, it doesn't need to be any more gappy. Alright, now we're working along the bottom edge of the project. So we're going to put an entire corner here because it has nothing to join to. So we just need to finish it out. And we're just going to work straight across the bottom. Okay, and then now that we're into these corners again, we still need to join, but we also need to finish. We join in between, but let's finish it first. So put our 3 double crochet in. Chain 1 or 2. Insert your hook into that space. Pull the loop back on your hook, pull it up, chain 1. Finish the next corner by putting 3 double crochet in. So you can see now that corner, it's all joined up. Now we're going to work across the bottom like per normal. We're getting there, guys. It's the home stretch. And again, I apologize if my daughter is distracting or if the dogs are barking. There's life happening all around me. Alright, now let's join up and finish these corners off. So we're going to put 3 double crochet right here to finish this one's corner. Chain 1 or 2, pull your hook out, insert it into that space. Pull your loop back on and through, chain 1, finish the last square's corner by putting 3 double crochet in, then hop over and finish along its side, its naked edge here. Okay, now we are back to the very beginning. We're not done. We still need to finish this corner out. So we're going to do that, whoops, by putting 3 double crochet in, just like normal. So here's a personal preference. You can either chain 1 and like half double crochet to the top of your starting chain like some people do, or you can just chain up however many you chain between and slip stitch to join. That's what I'm gonna do. It doesn't really matter. Oh look, I had just enough yarn, imagine that. So here we are, and it's fully completed, and this is actually the bottom. So as you can see, yes, you're going to have some funky indents and such. These corners here, they look good, they're fine, they're attached, there's nothing wrong with them. The bottom edging, this is why people put borders around granny squares, because it is kind of wavy. So if you're going to do a border, there's lots of tutorials on borders. For now, I just wanted to show you how to join as you go. I think it looks great this way. It's like my favorite method ever. And you can either join it literally as you go, as you're making the squares, or stockpile the squares and then join. So I thank you for joining, and I hope you learned something. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Hit the little bell icon to be notified of all of our videos here at Sunflower Cottage Crochet. Bye bye.